Hello everyone and welcome back to Islands of Wanyama, episode 6. I'm yoyosmugglerr and it's great to have you guys back. So yeah, we're jumping right into another time lapse here. I'm really enjoying this style of video editing slash, recording. It just kind of allows me to kind of build at my own pace and not necessarily, jump back and forth between showing live stuff, and I can just kind of go off and go off the deep end for that matter. But yeah, just really loving this style. So I'm thinking that that's what we're gonna go with for the rest of the series for the most part, until we get into the actual animal exhibits. Then we should be able to go in and we may do some live stuff there. So yeah, so just working on this building over here to the right hand side of our entrance pathway here. We got the basic shape down last episode, but just wanted to kind of get this going here. So I struggled a little bit with the roofing shape that I wanted to do there. So I kind of just kept going back and forth on different shapes, and I really wanted to have this sort of inverted roof style that we're looking at right now. But it just kind of took me a couple tries to get the right pieces down the way that I wanted it to do. But very happy I was able to get this shape down, because I was just about on the verge of custom making a roof, and I was so close to doing it, and I'm so glad I didn't. But yeah, so we go ahead and we just move that building over just a tad bit, just because I thought the roof on that little entrance to that building there, I thought it was cutting too much into the bridge there. Just didn't want to take any of that away from, any of the sight lines away from the bridge there. So just moved it over slightly. Now we're just filling in those gaps there. Really excited for this building. It turns out really great. There is a little bit of a cut in the middle of it, of course, but we go ahead and I let it sit for a little bit just so you guys can get a quick glimpse of it. But of course, I'll show you guys in the real time portion later, what the final product of it is. But yeah, just really happy with how it came out. So it's not going to be. It is technically going to be functional, but it isn't really going to be functional for the guests, because like I said last episode, we're going to have that vet surgery building in there, so that's basically what that's going to be. In real life, it's a souvenir shop in Islands of Adventure, but unfortunately, we only have so many souvenir shops in game, and I already have, so we only have 3. We have Hat's Fantastic, Just a Memento, I believe is what it's called, and so that's fantastic. Sells hats, obviously, and Just a Memento sells like weird odd and end things like postcards and stuff like that, just kind of like, and whatever. And then the last one that we had, the third one, is Looney Balloons. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use that one just because I feel like from a zoo standpoint, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure zoos aren't very fond of balloons themselves, just because of the debris that they cause or whatever. I don't personally have a problem with balloons, but just, keeping it from a realism standpoint, I'm pretty sure, like I said, that zoos aren't too fond of them. Just haven't been in a zoo that sold balloons, and I'm pretty sure even down at Animal Kingdom and Disney, they make you discard your balloons or something if you bring a balloon from the Magic Kingdom or something over. But yeah, not 100% sure on that fact, if that's true or not, but just kind of seems right. I should probably did some research just to make sure, but we're just going to go with that just in case, because like I said, it sounds right. So if you know, definitely let me know in the comments down below on what that rule is for the balloons there. But yeah, so there's the cut there for a little bit. I just kind of wanted to keep the camera steady for just a tad, so that way you guys could take a little peek at it before the actual real-time portion. Just love the way that the rock work turned out on the face of the building there, and the ivy. Oh, it looks so good. Yeah, just kind of I get this really cool like a tree bark type volcanic vibe from it, and just really happy with how that turned out there. That shape on top of the building is kind of what I was going for the shape on top of our little ticket archway entrance booth from a couple episodes ago that I was talking about. But just unfortunately, with how short the actual buildings were, and also having to work with the actual info booth inside there, we just couldn't sink those rocks in like I wanted it to. So with this big building and, you know, just kind of being empty in the middle there, not really being functional for guests, it allowed me to bury those rocks in deeper and sink them in just a little bit more how I wanted to get it. So I was just really happy with how that turned out. So it's kind of bare on the backside there. I'm not sure if we're going to keep it bare on the backside or not, just because I don't think it's something that you're necessarily going to see from the guest standpoint of view. Once we actually get to the other side of the bridge and we start working our way around the pathways to the actual exhibits, if there's a part where, from a guest standpoint, from like the path, if they can, like, if there's like an eye line sight to the back of that building and they can see it, then I might either try to like hide it up with some foliage or something, or if there's another building we could try to throw in there. But if not, then we'll come back and we'll do some work on the back of that building. So just kind of wanted to leave that bare like that, so just try to add more realism into it, because if, you know, if the guests can't see it in real life, then they're not going to go ahead and they're not going to spend money making it look nicer then. So yeah, so just moving on from that building, then we're working off here to the right hand side, just adding on another little facade building type thing. This one isn't functional or anything like that. It doesn't have anything inside it at the moment. We may go ahead and throw some staff buildings in eventually, but it is more than just a facade. It is an actual building. It's got its whole, you know, it's got all sides are enclosed in, so we can go ahead and, of course, edit that if we want to in the near future. But yeah, just still basing this off of a building here in Islands of Adventure. I really love the way this one turned out as well. You guys are actually in for a treat. Not only are you getting to see most of the actual building parts, because most of the time, you know, I'm cutting it out, or I just, you know, don't mean to cut it out and then just kind of get on a roll while I'm not recording. But we actually, I believe it's 4 buildings. Yeah. So we got the building off to the left there, this building right here, and then in just a moment we build 2 more buildings as well. So you get to see most of the buildings for all these buildings today in this episode. There is a building that I build later on, and I'll try to take note of it when we start to work over in that area. But there is a building that I built off camera just because it was supposed to be like a small building, and it really wasn't anything too impressive or anything like that. It was just kind of something that I didn't know which direction that I wanted to go as well, so I just kind of went ahead and, you know, was popping some pieces down, and then it just kind of took shape when I wasn't recording, and I was like, well, we're just going to go ahead and have to roll with it because I'm happy with the way this turned out, and I didn't want to build it again. Plus, like I said, you already have 4 buildings in this episode. It's quite a lot, and didn't want to make this episode an hour long because I definitely know this is going to be a longer episode. I already had to cut out a whole bunch of just small in-between stuff, so if you see some weird hard cuts, that's why, because I just didn't want this to be forever long. It really could have almost been 2 episodes probably, but I kind of just wanted to keep this whole area together, so that's why we kept it into one area. But yeah, so just working up on this faux balcony here. I'm just adding in this trellis piece here. I went ahead and tried to add in the in-game trellis piece, but it was just a bit too big for my liking. It just wasn't going to work. So we go ahead and we make our own out of some wooden log beams. Really wanted to try to keep that same piece going across all the beams there, but it was just a little bit too long. So we go ahead and we throw in the African post and just turn it on its side. This is actually the first time that we have made a building with the painted bricks, and I don't know why I wasn't using them, but I went ahead and I was like, you know, we're just gonna try it here and see what it looks like, and I was very happy with how it turned out. I believe there's like one other texture, 2 other textures that we haven't yet built with either. I know the metal cladding we haven't done, so I don't plan on doing that, especially for anything that's supposed to be nice looking or a facade. But yeah, so very happy with the painted brick though. We just kind of left it kind of a light bluish white tone there. But we're actually going to be wrapping up this build here in just a second. I believe we're going to go ahead and move on to the 3rd building in the time lapse. We go ahead and we add a little bit more detail onto that later on in the episode, and of course you'll see that in the real time here. So we move on to our third building of the episode, and we go ahead and we go back to the mud painted, or I don't know if it's painted mud or mud painted, or if it's just mud wall. But really, I just really love the texture of the wall. It's just kind of unfortunate with how limited you are with the graphic logo running horizontally on the 4-piece walls, as well as the arch pieces. So we make do what we got, though. It's just kind of it's sad because it's one of the only recolorable wall pieces. But we go ahead and match the mud wall pieces up with these sandstone pieces that we have from our little entrance archways. So we just kind of wanted to get a little bit of flow there going on and trying to like match that up. So right now, what this building is going to be, if you're wondering why I'm building just this one little sliver right here, we actually go ahead and we turn this into a dome piece. So we go ahead and we turn it into a dome. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build one side of the building. So we're just kind of, making it look as nice as we can, like we would if it was just a regular building. But we just kind of work on the one grid, so the 4-meter wall there. We just work with that one sliver at a time until we get it just about where we want for the actual piece itself. Then what we'll do here, so I go ahead and throw that glass top on there. So once you have your roof on there, that's kind of going to be one of your last points there, but I kind of wanted to just hide that edge of the roof there. And we actually go ahead and we swap that roof piece out later on. I went ahead and threw down the wrong piece initially, which was a little bit of a pain. But yeah, so this is why you want to make sure that you get all of your everything basically the way you wanted it to. So once we get it like that, you can just kind of duplicate it over, and then you go ahead and you rotate it around. Just try to line it up as perfectly as you can. It's not going to be perfect each time, especially with the smaller your dome is, the harder it's going to be. So I think I went like 3 across because I wanted to get an octagon shape for this building. So you can see there's a little bit of a gap in between a couple of pieces there, and that's just going to happen because, like I said, the smaller you get it, the least likely, or not least likely, but the worse it's going to look, I guess. But it doesn't look too bad. I don't want to say worse, but yeah, just the it won't come together seamlessly as it should if you do a bigger dome. But yeah, once we throw on this actual dome piece, that's when we find out, or that's when I realized that that wasn't the roof piece that I wanted to use. I wanted to use the classical piece with the white trim on it. So we go ahead and we just replace that, and you see we have to do that individually per each piece and enter in like a new building. And so that just takes some time. So that's why you want to make sure that you get all of your pieces, all of the wall, just make sure that you want to do all the walls how you want them before you actually start rotating the piece around there. And now it's basically just filling in the blanks here. So I just went ahead and cut in a little bit of that for you guys, so you can just see what that process was there. So you can see we skipped forward and we went ahead and finished off that awning there. And now we're just going to go ahead and kind of extend this wall out, just basically trying to get some more length into it, and just basically after this we'll kind of throw it into place there. So right now it's not in its final resting place. I just kind of wanted to get it off to the side so that way we could have some room with where we wanted to work with. But yeah, so we cut it here in a little bit, and then we go ahead and throw it in place, and then we add on that building that we don't have in the time lapse, and I'll show you guys that in the real time here. But this is going to act as sort of our first aid and lost and found building / guest services as well. So that's going to be next to the actual entrance archways. Alright, and finally on to our last build of the day here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work with our with one of the other pieces that like I said, that we haven't worked with yet. So I think it's I want to call it wooden vertical or vertical wooden pieces. I'm not 100% sure on what the piece itself is called, but it was just looking around at the other buildings that I've built so far in the series, and just realized that I haven't built with this one yet. Mostly probably because I think it's just a little too close to the modern or a New World wood set, whatever it's called, the wood that we used for the cafe a couple episodes ago. I just feel like that was just a little too close to that as far as design is concerned. Color is a little off, obviously, but just wanted to try to steer away from the wooden after that big cafe build. But I thought that this would actually work pretty good here. So what this building is going to eventually become a coffee shop. So we're gonna go ahead and throw in a Street Fox coffee shop, which is the in-game coffee shop that they have. So their little mascot is the Street Fox. So we go ahead and we throw that right next to the white building that we worked on earlier. So that goes right in there to the right of it, and I just wanted to kind of throw that towards the entrance of the park, because I'm sure you got some parents coming in at the beginning of the day or very early morning. The whole bunch of kids, and they may need some coffee. So I definitely wanted to give them that option right there at the beginning of their day if they wanted it to do so. Because in real life, this building is in Islands of Adventure, but it's actually off towards the exit side. So we just didn't have room for it on our last episode to throw it in, but I really like the actual building itself. I didn't take a lot of inspiration from the building. The only thing that's really the same is kind of the basic shape of it. Everything else is just completely different, just because I just wanted to kind of go with a different vibe with it. Since it's being a coffee shop, I definitely wanted to get that wooden element in there, kind of make it a little bit more modern-ish type. So yeah, so their little building there, I'm not even sure what it actually is in real life, because I think it may be like a facade type thing, but it's got 4 walls all the way around in real life, so I'm not exactly sure what it is, or it just could be storage. I'm not sure. But yeah, just really like the shape of the building itself, and I thought it would fit really nicely in between the white building and then the yellow building that we just built. Just needed to fill that little space out, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this building in it then. So yeah, so just hanging up the Street Fox coffee sign. Just want to make sure everybody knows it's coffee. If they couldn't smell it as soon as they walked in. But really happy with how this building turned out as well. I've been really happy with how the builds have been turning out. I hate to say it, but it feels like every time I start on a new building or go in, open Planet Zoo for the first time for the day or something, I always have this sense of dread, because I'm just like, I'm worried that what I'm envisioning to build isn't going to turn out how I want it to be, just because of the pieces that we have and all that, and all the color limitations. So yeah, so coming into each build with a negative thought isn't the best, but I guess it's kind of working for me, because it's pushing me to work a little bit harder and make the buildings a little bit better here. But yeah, so I know I keep saying that I'm excuse me. I know I keep saying that I'm happy with the builds, but I just truly am happy with these builds. And like I said, last episode, building the buildings from Islands of Adventure has just always been something that I've wanted to do in Planet Coaster, but just have never gotten around to do it. So it just kind of made sense to do it in Planet Zoo. So just very happy with how it all turned out in the end. Just Plaza is looking so good. I'm so excited for you guys to see it here at the end, the time lapse. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start on this upper deck as well, the coffee shop. Just also it's faux, so it's not the guests can't access it or anything like that. We just throw in a little bit of detail there, just kind of cap off those little posts. We actually throw a whole bunch of clutter and everything up here on this deck after the time lapse, so you'll see that in the real time portion, just to kind of fill it out and give it a little bit more detail. And we throw in this little trellis thing again. Still didn't find out if that was the actual word for it. Not sure if it's trellis or what the issue is. I know it probably says right there on the menu when I'm picking it, but I never look at the names. But yeah, I went ahead and threw up that antenna as well, just because I thought that may be a cool way to throw in some more realism on top of it. Maybe it's like an antenna that the workers use for their walkie-talkies or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on how the whole the radio frequencies work or anything like that. But just kind of wanted to throw in a little realism if I could there. But yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and finish this top portion off here. It basically stays just like that for the most part, other than the small details. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw in some roof pieces, and we go again with those clay pieces. I know I use the clay pieces a little bit more than I should, but I just love them so much. I love the way that they fit in this theme. I love the way that they look. I love that they're recolorable. That's one of the main things. So we go with a little bit different shape than I've used previously, and then we just go ahead and we throw in that flat piece as well, just so that way it wasn't messing with the trellis piece right there with the hanging flame. So yeah, so that's about gonna do it for this time lapse, guys. So I got a few seconds left, but I'll leave you with some music while we finish this up here, and we'll see you in the real time portion. Alright guys, well here we are in the real-time portion, and you can already start to see off behind our entrance gates there that we can already see some stuff that we didn't see in the time-lapse portion, so let's just go ahead and dive right into it. I know it's already a little bit long of a video, so I won't keep you guys waiting too much longer. But yeah, look at this. So this is our entire right side of our entrance plaza in all of its glory. Loving how all this is just kind of fitting together. It looks so good in my opinion. Not meaning to toot my own horn or anything, but just love the way all these buildings came together, and just really happy with the flow of everything. So let's go ahead and we'll take a closer look at all of it, especially since we didn't get to see a whole lot in depth in the time-lapse portion. Yeah, we just went ahead and added some foliage over here, just kind of give this little gardening area, as well as some of the, I want to say tiki torches, but I can't think of what the actual term for these are when the lights are low to the ground like that. We went ahead and added some lighting underneath here as well. There's a whole lot of lighting that we added on, so we'll definitely have to go in the night portion as well if we have some time. But yeah, we just went ahead and hung these little Asian lanterns off of the bridge here, just to kind of give it some more light and give it a little bit more detail as well. But yeah, so this is the white building that we added on. Nothing too different from the time lapse, except for this little these little three hanging African pieces there, and we went ahead and added some Indian posters and cloth hanging from it as well, just to kind of give it some more detail and some more depth. But yeah, let's look at the Street Fox coffee shop. I'm really loving this as well. It's just probably one of my favorite things that came out of this building. I just think that came out so well. So I know off to the side here it looks a little empty, but we'll go ahead and we'll fill that in once we actually start to work our way around there behind it once we get to the actual animal exhibit. So right now this is a functional path. We can walk behind it and we can see that we have some water and some electrical as well. So the staff will walk back there and they'll work on that because we definitely needed some water and electricity on this side, so I thought that was really nice. But yeah, look at there. There's all the clutter that I was talking about in the time-lapse portion, so really like how that turned out as well. Just to try to make it a little bit more messy and more filled in. And we went ahead and added these carts also. Wanted to add some sort of they have a whole bunch of like food pieces that we could have added on, like apple, like fruit and stuff in crates that we could have added on top here to make it like a little fruit selling cart. But I was thinking maybe we actually turn this into like a little ice cream cart or something like that. We may have to make some pieces of it for on our own, just to kind of give it some life there. So I went ahead and left it blank for now. If we wanted to come back and kind of turn that into like an ice cream cart or something. But yeah, we'll move on. We got our little tuk-tuk here. I believe that's what it's called. I think it's called something else in the game, but I've always referred to them as tuk-tuks. So they have one of these in real life in Islands of Adventure right here in the park, so I went ahead and threw that in as well. Since we have such a similar piece, I thought I had to. I can't miss that opportunity up. And then off to the right of the Street Fox coffee sign, or coffee shop, we have our little locker area. So we don't have any lockers yet, but the plan is to eventually have some lockers back here. It's pretty bare bone and basic for now, just because I want to wait until we get those lockers in there just to see how we can get them, fitted in there and sorted out. So once we get those lockers in, we'll come back and we'll just add a little bit more detail to it. I know somebody in the Bro Nation Discord is currently working on lockers, if I'm not mistaken. So just kind of want to. I was just gonna wait till they probably upload that, and then throw those lockers in there if they're decent and if they fit with everything so far. Just because it's just one of those things that we're never gonna see because it's off in this back corner here. I just don't want to waste a whole lot of time fiddling with it once again. So those are probably going to be one of our other workshop pieces. And then yeah, so just right over here back to the coffee shop. Not sure why this piece is so blurry, but it is. We went ahead and just added that Peacock television screen in just because I wanted it to kind of act as a menu. So I'm hoping that we get TV still in the near future. So I'm hoping that once we actually do get TVs and we can upload our own pictures, then we can go ahead and throw in like little coffee shop sign right in there. But for now, it's going to act as a PFOW information board. But yeah, so this is going to be our first aid and lost and found building / guest services. Really happy with how this turned out as well. It's nothing too spectacular, but just kind of wanted to get that dome shape in there like it is in real life, so really happy with how that turned out also. It's not functional or anything like that, so if you walk into it, it's just basically empty for the time being. I wish we had a first aid building, that way we could actually throw that in there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Planet Coaster had first aid buildings, so I'm surprised that Planet Zoo doesn't. It's just one of those things that, we're missing more than when we should. But yeah, so off to the right there, you can see that other building that I was talking about that we didn't work on in the time lapse. So let's go ahead and we'll just turn around real quick here. Oh, we're flying now. Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think we're stuck on top of the roof, guys. Let's go ahead and exit Tejikam. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and we'll just slide over here to the right, and then that's the building that we didn't work on. So I got 2 of these shops closed right now. I meant to close all 4 of them. I'm thinking, so these are all just information booths. I know we have like about 20 information booths right now in the park. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have all these closed and we'll just act as, our story behind them will be that they were old ticket booths of some sort before we got this new entrance or something, or old guest services building before we built this new building over here. But just wanted to kind of, we needed to add something over to this right side here, and I just kind of like the way that went together with this building. This big old yellow building right here, so went ahead and went with it, and like the way this one turned out as well. So yeah, so we'll probably close these guys up, and these guys will probably lose their jobs, unfortunately, but they'll survive, I suppose. But yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll jump in a night mode, so that way we can see it at night, because it just looks really good. And before we do so, if you didn't notice, we turned these little triangle trapezoid shaped piece. Oh my gosh, this camera's just jumping around everywhere today. Went ahead and turned those from red, blue, and white into the into our color park, so it just kind of looks a little bit better and blends in a little bit more. So let's go ahead and let's get back into Tejikam. Let's change it to night first, and then we'll hop into Tejikam. Boom. All right. Get this UI out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take a walk in and just look at the lighting. Really love how this turned out. I know the video's a little bit long though. I know I just keep saying how much I loved how stuff turned out. So we'll just take a brief run through here with the lighting just to kind of give you guys an idea of everything. Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, the only thing we did on this side, we added these little lanterns in. We added in all the lighting actually on this side. I thought we had done that before, but after turning it in night mode, I realized that we did not get the lighting done on the left side last time. So I just went ahead and lit these buildings up as well. Very happy with how they turned out in the dark time also. Yeah, went ahead and these little. Really love sinking these lights into the ground. I just think they look so awesome and so realistic, so we'll probably do those a lot around the park. Just kind of love the way those lights shine up on the beams like that. I definitely forgot to add some lighting in here, so we'll definitely come back and do some more lighting. Should get some above the ATMs probably too. But yeah, so that's basically all the lighting and changes on this side here. So we'll get out of Tetracam once more, just so you guys can get the an idea of what the lighting looks like when you're not from guest view. So a lot of it is just kind of, you know, stuff like this that's hidden. You can't really see it from down here. It's, you know, once you're looking at it from up here, it's kind of ugly, but once you're looking at it from guest view, we can kind of get back down there. Once you're looking at it from like here, you can't really see that ugly box or anything like that, so it does the job and it lights up the areas perfectly. So you're going to see that a lot. When you're looking at the buildings from above, it kind of takes away some of the you know, how well the buildings look, but I wanted to keep those in there just because I wanted it to look as realistic as possible from the guest point of view. So once again, just sinking these in there, throwing in a light. I know these are kind of ugly, especially these. It kind of, you know, but once you get down here, it definitely pays off. So yeah, very happy with those lighting as well. Just doing some more of those lightings on the roof over here, just to kind of get that whitewash up on top of there. Love that also. Some more lighting on these pillars, and just basically they have that same thing over and over again on each piece here. Really happy with how all the lighting turned out as well. I cannot stop. I cannot get over how well the lighting is in this game, and the weather. It's just so awesome. I love it so much. But yeah, so that's gonna make a pretty long episode so far. So I think that's gonna wrap up this episode for now, guys. So be sure to leave a like and a comment, and let me know if you enjoyed something or if you didn't enjoy something. And of course, subscribe for more Planet Zoo content in the near future. Take care, guys. See you soon.